Wildlife or landscape? Yawn. Mountains or big rocks, okay? Meh, boring. The sun just went down here at Sprague Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park in December. Steve's trying to catch the last rays of that sun for a landscape photograph. And I brought my camera out here just in the hopes we could see some wildlife. In the summer, this is where we'd often come for moose. But otherwise, I'm not a fan of photographing landscapes myself. And so I'm going to give you 8 reasons why I hate landscape photography. Not landscape photographers, just the act of photographing landscapes, okay? I like photographers. I like landscape photography. I follow all the people you follow on YouTube, Thomas Heaton and James Popsis and Adam Gibbs and Gavin Harka, like all the people, right? But when it comes to doing that, I can't. I am running around looking for wildlife. We're up here in Rocky right now, and we saw some coyotes earlier out in a meadow, and I had to make myself look up and say, oh my gosh, look at the view. It's gorgeous with the mountains covered in snow. Okay, now back to the coyote. That's just the way I am. So, okay, all right, here we go. I'm gonna give you the 8 things. Let me set my camera down. Number 1 is you need legs. You need a tripod. And I am not a big fan of tripods. I don't want to carry them around. I don't want to have to fiddle with the gimbal, different heads, all the legs. I rarely use a tripod in any of my kinds of photography. It's fiddly. You're constricted. You have to stand there forever. No. Steve loves the tripod. He is so good at landscape photography. He's nice and patient. Now I can be patient looking for a moose for 2 hours in the same spot, but waiting for the sun or the clouds to do something, yawn. Let's talk a little bit more about gear. Filters. Ugh. I do not want to figure out how to use filters. Half the time if I ever use a filter, it's for videography. I will use an ND filter when I'm filming for a client out in the bright day. I like to fiddle around sometimes with a polarizer. That's pretty, you know, for water. Like we're right next to this creek here. Really nice to play around with polarizers over water. Otherwise, no, it just takes more time. I feel like it took me long enough to get here just in time for the sun to go down, and then to have to figure out filters and tripod. No, just no. Okay, third thing is remote trigger. I don't want to use a remote trigger. It's one more piece of equipment you have to bring, one more set of batteries, then you have to stand there. Like, it's fine, it's nice, he loves it, it's great for that kind of photography. But what I like to photograph is wildlife. Remote trigger does nothing for me. So I don't want to have to fiddle with a remote trigger or a timer, any of that. This one probably applies to today is I also don't always love alarm clocks. Because you often have to get up hours before sunset or sunrise. Today we decided to come out for sunset because that's just kind of what we had in mind. So I get up naturally pretty early, but to get up early enough to drive to location, hike in, and then you have to be there significantly before the sun rises. It just never works out for me. It's so frustrating. I am an early riser, but not always that stinking early. And in the summer, I mean, you're out here at 4 a.m. and then the sun doesn't go down until like 8:30. It's a very long day. I don't know how many times this last fall we were going to get up at 3 and get up here and we're like, nope. Just rolled back over and fell back to sleep. And we only live 45 minutes from here. I know, sad. What am I at? 5th thing? Standing in one place forever to look at a rock or a tree. Mountains are big rocks, okay? That mountain's the same. It's been the same. Yeah, the clouds around it are gonna be different. Some days the atmosphere is gonna be different, the snow on it. I'm waiting for a moose to step in front of that rock. I'm looking for a bird to sit in the tree. I'm not gonna stand there forever for the right light to be on that one, what Steve loves, dead trees. You know, that one dead tree. it's just not for me. I don't want to stand there for hours. And then half the time here in Colorado, bluebird skies, no clouds. We could probably come up here every single day of the month and get a couple of days where the sunset and sunrise is spectacular. And I'm exaggerating, but when you don't have every day to come up here, it can be super frustrating. Landscape photography, I guess what I'm trying to say is frustrating. Number 7, focus stacking and using a high f-stop. What a pain, because maybe you're trying to get this rock and then this, foreground, middle ground, background. You want to get it all in focus and it's all spread out. So you have to stack it. And I'm never very good at that because when you focus here and you focus here, sometimes that focus changes things a little bit. I don't know. I don't like it. And then the alternative is to use a high f-stop and everything's in focus. Oh, give me a wide open aperture or a medium open aperture and wildlife. Come on. You have to focus stack everything and you have to have a high aperture all the time. Like, come on. Man, boring. Okay, so this one must be number 8. Hours in Photoshop. I don't want to spend hours in Photoshop. I just don't. I see a lot of great tutorials. Nick Page on here has some amazing tutorials. I love watching that. I am just not going to sit down for hours and edit. And honestly, in my portrait work, when I'm getting overwhelmed, I send it to an editor. I get it where I want it. I have the flavor that I like, and I'm good. I'm not going to do the Orton effect and just all these things. I'm just not going to spend the time nitpicking every pixel. I know that most people are just going to look at it on their phone. Now, there are a couple of them that we've put up on our wall at home or we have for sale on cattailchronicles.com, hint, hint. But most of those are Steve's. I rarely take those landscape photos. So that is a rapid fire reason why I hate landscape photography. Now, don't hate me. Don't hate on me. I don't hate you. I don't hate people who love it. I don't hate other people's landscape photography. It's just not for me. Tell me in the comments, wildlife or landscape? Wildlife or landscape, okay? Let me know. All right, now I'm going to have to sit here for hours while Steve, no, just kidding. It is really pretty. I like to walk through the landscape, but really, I just really don't know how to photograph it. Yeah. So that's what I got for you today. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the sunset there with Steve, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye. I have to say, there's actually a number 9. I didn't even put my microphone on. We're packing up. Number 9 really is, I suck at it. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very inspired. I can see a big scene and have no idea how to photograph it. So that's probably the truth of it. Yeah. Okay, now I can go.